I want to ask you the question today, our team, our staff, those of you that have helped fund this church, those of you who've helped serve in this church, those of you that pray for this church, those of you that sweat for this church, do we care? We should care now more than ever. This is an exciting time. So many are in closed doors full of fear, but Jesus wants to break into your house and say, peace, I am with you. And I'm not just with you, I am sending you out because I have a good message to tell. And I want to tell you peace a second time because my second piece, that is my presence. I will go with you, but you got to go and you got to care. Well, how do I care? How do I care? 4 things, write them down. Number 1, care. It always starts with compassion and concern. Compassion and concern. Compassion, by definition, a feeling of deep sympathy and sorrow for another who is stricken by misfortune, accompanied by a strong desire to alleviate the suffering. See, in order to care, it always starts with an emotion. It always starts with a feeling. You have to allow yourself to feel in this time. I've noticed about myself that sometimes I want to stay distracted. I don't want to lean into the feeling. I don't want to get vulnerable enough to feel what I'm feeling. But there's something powerful there that when I begin to sympathize with others and when I allow God to break my heart for people, that's where I get courage. And that's where I actually start to care about them. Care begins with compassion. Like, listen, if you're going to go the distance, if you're going to run the marathon of ministry, if you don't love people, if your heart doesn't break for people, you will never be able to go on this journey. And if your heart right now is not broken for anybody else other than your immediate family, something is desperately wrong. If you're not considering your neighbor to the right, your neighbor to the left, if you're not thinking about the people in your crew right now, you got to go, God, literally this is what's like, somebody got to get off this call today and you got to pray this prayer. You got to say, God, break my heart for what breaks yours. I don't want to go another day without having compassion and concern for those around me, for those that are hurting. God, I want to be a person who cares. And so, God, give me compassion. Give me a feeling. Give me an emotion. Let me feel it, Lord. I don't want to just say it. I want to feel what others are feeling. But notice the definition. It doesn't just stop with the feeling. It says it's accompanied by a strong desire to alleviate the suffering. See, I always think compassion starts with a feeling, but quickly it seeks out a solution. It seeks out an opportunity to alleviate. I don't want to just sit there and cry. I want to cry. I want my heart to break. I want to feel the pain, but then I want a desire to come over to me and say, yo, where is the solution, yo? How can I be a part of this answer? Do you care? Do you even care? I want us all this week, those of us on our staff, I want you to pray this prayer. God, break my heart for what breaks yours. This isn't a one-time prayer. This is a prayer that we pray over and over again. Number 1, how do you care? And do I care? God, give me compassion. Give me a concern. Number 2, how do you care? You have to do this thing called active listening. Active listening. That you're listening has to have intention behind it. I'm just all day, I feel like I'm taking call after call. I'm working, I'm taking calls. I'm working, I'm taking calls. So many stories. You know, for a lot of us that have been privileged, some of us, our greatest fear right now is just the economy. Listen to me. That is a great fear, and I understand that. But let me tell you what's a whole lot more difficult than losing your income. It's losing your life. And there's people right now. I got so many friends in New York. I haven't talked to one person in New York right now who doesn't know somebody in the hospital. And in those kind of moments, people need to be heard. And we need, as ministers and as pastors and as a church, we need to actively listen. How do I actively listen, Rich? Number 1, active listening requires your full attention. Attention is the word. Attention. I'm not listening to speak. I'm giving you my attention right now in our house. It's funny because we're still, I mean, I bet some of you are still like this. We're still trying to figure out this routine. We're still trying to figure out this rhythm. And it's funny, we'll be at dinner and someone will be getting done with work, and we're trying to create a place where Don Cherie and I, we're having the dinner together with the boys, but sometimes one of us will be on the phone still answering something, and we'll kind of make jokes at each other because we'll start talking. And I've been doing it the other day where I'll be talking and I know they're not listening to me. They'll be going, So I'll just start saying outlandish, ridiculous stuff. And I'll see how long I can go before they're like, why'd you say that, bro? I'm like, I've been saying weird stuff for 5 minutes. You just haven't been listening. We want to make sure that as people are sharing their heart, that they're getting our full attention. Give people your attention. Like, get the distractions away, man. In your crew, talk to people, listen. But it's not just your attention, right? It's your attitude. Like, you actually have to, once again, this is probably prayer. Like, I actually have to care about what you're talking about. I can't just be sitting there and like giving you my attention going, this is stupid. This is annoying. This is a waste of time. Geez, what's he talking about? I actually have to go, God, give me the right attitude. God, give me the right attitude for this. And then the third one is adjustment. I think many times we start listening and we have like our own agenda with people, and you don't need to have an agenda, especially when people are grieving. You just need to be present and engaged. You need to give them your full attention. You need to have the right attitude, an attitude of care, an attitude of peace. And then you need to be able to adjust. You need to be able to follow them. You don't need to necessarily say, oh, let me get my points in. No. Listen, actively listen. How do you care? You show compassion, you show concern, you actively listen. Number 3, this is the word, repetition. This idea of care, it's not just showing up to staff being like, oh, I care. Like, that's repetition. It's not like, oh, I called somebody today. Whew, that's what I don't like about the word evangelism, by the way, in general, because there's this whole like mentality that you don't really even see that really show up many times in scripture. I'm an evangelist, because it turns evangelism into a project where it's like, okay, well, how many people did you witness to today? It's like, I witnessed to 3 people. I'm good for the month. I met my quota. That's not it. Like, to show care is compassion, it's concern, it's actively listening, and it's repetition. Repetition creates your reputation. Are you known as somebody who cares? If you're not known as somebody who cares, it's because you're not repeating it. It's because you did it one time because someone forced you to do it. I'm giving everything I can every week to come in here and plead with you. I don't get the luxury of proximity. I don't even get the luxury of frequency. I don't get the luxury of intensity. I don't get the luxury of duration anymore with you. I get this one moment. And so I am pleading with you, man. Keep showing up. Repeat. It's the repetition. It's consistently answering the call. It's consistently texting back. Dude, the longer we go in this whole situation, the easier it is for you to back off. I told us a couple weeks ago, we are in army mode. We're facing all sorts of challenges that you don't need to be afraid of, that we're going to get through. But like, wake up, man. Like, those of you that get paid by this organization, wake up. 6 million people in America don't have a job. You still have one. That's better than a whole lot of people. We got to work. We got to go to work. Giving's down 20%. We're going to be okay. We're prepared. We're ready. But don't take that we're prepared and we're ready and let it determine you to be like, we got to lean in, man. We got to find the opportunities in this. Repeat. Like, Don Cherie and I and Dee were talking the other night. It's like, do we keep doing the show? I'm like, I'm just going to keep showing up. Like, I don't know. Like, I thought we were going to be in this quarantine for 2 weeks. It sounded more like 2 months. I don't know, but I want to keep being there for people. I want to keep bringing the totality of who I am to people. I want to keep being a person that folks can count on, saying, that's a consistent voice. That's an encouraging voice. That's somebody who cares about me. That's somebody who loves me. That's somebody who's speaking peace when I'm closed in my house full of fear. Friends, Jesus is alive. And we have peace for eternity, but we have peace for right now. He never commissions us without a promise. And the promise right now is his presence will bring us peace. Let's keep repeating it. Lastly, here we go. Lastly, if you're going to care, it's empathy. It's empathy. If you can't tell right now, I'm in my preacher mode. That was an acronym. Holler at your boy Diogo at any moment. You can show the acronym. Care, baby. Compassion and concern. Active listening. Repeat empathy. Like, this doesn't impress anybody other than preachers. We're just annoying. But empathy, the art of putting yourself in somebody else's shoes, the art of seeing it from the other side. Henry Ford, he said this, he said, if there's one secret of success, it lies in the ability to get the other person's point of view and see things from that person's angle as well as from your own. I could also say the secret of success in a marriage is empathy. The secret of success on a staff, on a team, the secret of success in leadership is empathy, that we all have to seek to understand before we seek to be understood. And most of us, to my knowledge, on this call, our immediate family is healthy. Most of us on this immediate call, to my knowledge, the majority of us, I know some people on this call have lost work and have lost income, but the most of us, especially on our staff, are healthy and have an income. The great tragedy of that is if that comfort prevents us from empathizing with people's pain. You know, the other night, my boy Wild was having a slight fever, and he's okay today. Thank you. He's okay. Don't worry. He's all good. Prayed for him. He's healthy. I promise you he's healthy. But it was amazing. As soon as I sensed a fever, how a brand new feeling came over me. And there's so many people right now that this is the hardest hour that they have ever faced, that they have real concerns, that they have real fear. And friends, we have got to do every bit of our part. We need the Holy Spirit's help. We need the breath of God. I need Jesus to breathe on me again. I need new life in me that I might empathize with those that are hurting, that are struggling. That it wouldn't just be my narrative that I'm shoving down, but I would go, I see. Lord, help us see. I pray that our church becomes more compassionate out of this, more empathetic out of this, deeper because of this. I believe we will. I believe we will. But we have to ask ourselves the question, do I even care? Do I even care? I believe that you do care. And today, if you're wondering, well, how do I get better at empathy? I think there's lots of little things we can do. One of the things that most of you are all doing right now, whether you know it or not, is that you're challenging yourself. Some of you, like, I always talk about leaning into the challenge. As you lean into the challenge, like, this is not the job that I got hired for, and this is not in my job description. Bro, that is so good right now to develop empathy, because whenever you struggle with something, when you try to, like, you know, if you try to learn a new language, quickly you're like, oh, you get humbled. I tried in 2019. Haven't gotten very far, but it's humbling, right? But humility is a key ingredient to empathy. You know, I was sitting with Don Shree and them, and I keep just so, you know, I keep slipping in that I helped write these songs. I think I just was there for moral support, but I'm all about it. But it's been a humbling experience because I've been able to see the back end of what the creatives go through, and it makes me more empathetic. Going, oh wow, that's amazing. Why? Because I'm challenging myself in a category I've never been challenged in. So lean into that challenge. It's going to develop humility. If you fall on your face, going, I feel like an idiot. Sometimes that's good, bro. Like, it's Steve Jobs who said, success is a lousy teacher. We talked about that in Work Your Weakness, bro. Like, staying low, man. God sometimes gives me a thorn in my flesh to remove my pride. It prevents the pride from destroying me. I'm staying humble, keeps me empathetic. It makes me a better leader. But 4 quick things, write these down. If you want to work on your empathy, be curious, not critical. Start with curiosity. Don't lead in with being critical. I got done preaching the other day, you know, and it's an interesting thing right now because we just preached 4 sermons into this next collection. And, like, I'm not used to preaching, even right now. Like, this is a different forum for me. Like, I love feedback. I love engaging. And so I'm in an empty room with 5 of our dudes, and I'm preaching to the greatest pandemic in the last 100 years, the greatest crisis of our lifetime. And I'm preaching more content at a faster pace than I ever have before. And I'm just kind of like, whoa, like, I'm just out of my bearings a little bit. I'm good, I'm fine. But, like, I think it's so easy in those moments. Like, what you want is you want some people to give positive feedback. You want some people to reinforce. You don't want criticism in that moment. You don't want critique in that. You're just going, I need affirmation, bro. We got to keep going. And I think all of us want that. So lead with curiosity. Don't lead with criticism. Be careful, not crushing. Be careful, not crushing. Like, sensitive. Go slow. Don't speak over people, man. Be careful. Ask, don't assume. Lastly, I love this one. Friend of sinners, connect before you correct. I think right now, man, we're moving fast, Try to make connections. I know Zoom, like so much of communication is nonverbal. We don't get the luxury of that right now. So try to make a connection before you correct. All you leaders on this call right now that are running businesses, take these principles, apply these right now in your space. That's actually what your organization needs. That's what the people at your job site need right now. They need a leader who cares. They need someone who believes in them, who has compassion, who's actively listening, who literally is repeating this day in and day out. It's not a one day a week thing. It's not a church thing that I do on Sunday. It's a lifestyle. It's that we're called to it, and that we'd empathize, that we would speak peace to those that are in fear. I'm 9 minutes over my time, but I love you all so very, very, very much. We are going to have an incredible week. This is going to be an Easter that will be historic. And I think about these disciples in this room in John chapter 20. Man, so afraid. They thought the story was all over. So many people right now are so afraid, but man, this is a great setup for the world's best comeback. Church of Jesus Christ will be stronger. VOUS Church hasn't seen her best days yet. The best days are in front of us, and we're going to see God move like never before.